got just 24 hours in Dublin before heading over to Scotland, and we are making every minute count. From iconic landmarks like the Halfpenny Bridge and the Guinness Storehouse to historic churches, local eats, and hidden gems, we're squeezing the soul of the city into one epic day. Ready to see how much of Dublin you can experience in just 24 hours? Let's go! To kick off this whirlwind adventure, we hopped on an evening flight departing from MSP Airport direct into Dublin, Ireland. Our flight took off just after midnight Dublin time, and we'd be touching down in Ireland just after 7 a.m. The in flight meal, surprisingly impressive. My husband had the mushroom pasta with the Parma sauce, and I decided to choose opposite and did the chipotle chicken. It came with a bunch of little sides. It really didn't feel like your typical airplane fare. Normally, I can sleep on flights, but even in Comfort Plus, I didn't catch a wink. Honestly, it was probably the most uncomfortable Delta seat that I've ever had to sit in for a longer flight. After 7 sleepless hours in the air, I was groggy, but buzzing with excitement. We were more than ready to hit the ground running. Luckily, the Dublin airport made it easy. Deboarding was smooth, customs was a breeze, and our luggage arrived in record time. The airport itself was spotless, and it was strangely quiet for a major international hub. We decided to grab a taxi for convenience. We headed straight to the hotel. It was the perfect location for a quick stay in the city. Comfortable, clean, and best of all, they let us check in early at no extra cost. That was a game changer. The staff were warm and welcoming, and our room came stocked with tea and an espresso machine. Small touches like this really do make a big difference. After a quick refresh and a moment to gather our bearings, we hit the streets ready to make the most of our one day in Dublin. So we stayed at the NYX Christchurch Hotel in Dublin, and I think we paid roughly $200 for the one night that we were there. Our location of the hotel that we stayed at was right here, very close to Dublin Castle, very close to the Christchurch Cathedral. And when we left for the morning, we walked this way towards the River Liffey and walked down this road here. And then we came upon the Halfpenny Bridge, and that's where we crossed. As we continued our walk, we followed this whole stretch here, and it's basically just a straight shot all the way down to our first activity of the day, which was the Ginny Johnson Irish famine story. With coffee in hand, we set out for the day. Our walk was just roughly over a mile and took us between 25 and 30 minutes. We reached the Halfpenny Bridge first. This is one of Dublin's most charming landmarks. It gets its name from the halfpenny toll that was once charged in order to cross it. Today, however, it is free to walk across, but the name stuck and so has its charm. After winding our way along the River Liffey, we finally spotted the Ginny Johnson, a majestic tall ship docked like a time capsule right in the heart of Dublin. I'll admit, when I booked this, I was bracing for something a little gimmicky or over theatrical, but our guide totally changed my mind. There were no cheesy reenactments, just powerful storytelling and fascinating history. Between the creaky wood decks and the stories of resilience, it felt like we had stepped into a living tribute to hope, grit, and survival. Between 1848 and 1855, the Ginny Johnson carried 2,500 Irish immigrants from County Kerry. Captain James Ettridge refused to overcrowd his ship and hired a skilled doctor, Richard Blanner-Hassett, who enforced strict hygiene routines to keep his passengers healthy. We dove into the gripping tale of the Irish famine, learning how this ship became a lifeline for thousands fleeing starvation. And get this, not a single passenger died on board during its 16 transatlantic voyages. That's an extraordinary record, especially considering the grim reputation of most famine era immigrant ships. Often, these ships were called coffin ships due to their overcrowding, poor sanitation, and high mortality rates. After we stepped off the Ginny Johnson and soaked up its powerful story, we literally just had to cross the street and landed at one of Dublin's most immersive museums, EPIC, the Irish Immigration Museum. Welcome to EPIC, the Irish Immigration Museum, located in Dublin's Custom House Quay. This isn't your average museum. It's 100% digital, immersive, and designed to make you feel like you're walking through the stories of these Irish immigrants who have shaped the world. You'll start by discovering why over 10 million people left Ireland through famine, war, persecution, or the pursuit of opportunity. One gallery dives into the Great Famine of 1845, showing how desperation drove families across the oceans. Another will celebrate Irish influence abroad, from poets to presidents to rebels and rock stars. Epic is a powerful reminder of how migration shapes identity, culture, and connection across the globe. The exhibits are interactive touch screens, motion sensors, and soundscapes that will pull you into the heart of each journey. And if you've got Irish roots, you can actually explore your family history at the Irish Family History Center right inside Epic. Overall, my experience at Epic was great. I have two tips that I would like to share with you. There is an app that you can download, an audio guide for your visit. So please bring headphones. There were a lot of people that didn't have headphones and they turned their phones on speakerphone and it was quite distracting. So please be mindful of the other people trying to also enjoy the museum. My second tip is plan for 2 to 3 hours. If you want to go into the details of the exhibits, it will take you quite a while. All right, so we have worked up quite the appetite, and we're going to take a stroll to get some food. There's this great seafood place that I heard about, and I wanted to check it out. The Seafood Cafe. This place, you guys, was, oh, it was so, so good. It was like, it was just really great food. So we just finished lunch at the Seafood Cafe, which honestly was probably one of my most favorite meals on this whole trip. And then we walked from there over to Christ Church Cathedral.
All right, so after lunch, we ended up in this area, and under other circumstances, I would probably go through and visit the Trinity College of Dublin and the Book of Kells experience. However, the Book of Kells experience has been under construction or refurbishment, however you want to say that. And so I didn't want to take the time out of this trip to go visit that experience because I want to see it once all of the books have been replaced. If you aren't aware, just Google it. The Book of Kells experience is currently being refurbished. So, we're going to skip a lot of that just because we only have this one day. And there were a couple of things like the Guinness Storehouse, which I really wanted to do. Welcome to the heart of medieval Dublin. Just steps away from the Christchurch Cathedral lies a Viking themed experience, Dublina. We did not have time to visit this, unfortunately. One of the biggest highlights to this is being able to climb St. Michael's Tower, which is a 96-step tower to view a panoramic view specifically of Dublin's rooftops. And I have heard that this is worth the trek and visit to Dublina.
Christchurch was originally founded in 1028 by the Viking king Sitrick Silkenbeard. That means that this church has been around for nearly 1,000 years. It is truly a stunning landmark. It's a time capsule which began as a modest wooden structure and was transformed in the 12th century when it was rebuilt with stone, giving us the Gothic masterpiece we get to explore today. When you think about it, this church is really a concert hall, a museum, and a living monument to Dublin's layered past. As we step inside, we are greeted by high, soaring arches, intricate stained glass, and beautiful tiles along the floor. This is also Strongbone's final resting place, as well as the location for the Heart of St. Lawrence O'Toole. There's a rare copy of a Magna Carta in the crypt. Whether you are here for history, the architecture, or just a quiet moment of reflection, Christchurch Cathedral, in my opinion, is a must see. When you visit Christchurch Cathedral, also, tickets are pretty affordable and they do come with the self guided audio. So, after we completed our time at Christchurch Cathedral, we decided to kind of take the long way to get to the Guinness Storehouse, and we stopped by St. Patrick's Park, which is right next to and behind St. Patrick's Cathedral. We were going to try to get in to see St. Patrick's Cathedral. However, there was a bus of kids, maybe young adults, that had just pulled up and we decided to skip it. We went to a convenience store on the corner and then we decided to walk the rest of the way to the Guinness storehouse. We did arrive a little bit early because we didn't get into the cathedral, and I was worried that they were going to be kind of picky about the timing on our ticket, but they let us start our tour early. We finally made it to Dublin's brewing legacy, the Guinness Storehouse. This isn't just an average tour or brewery, it has been transformed into this 7-story sensory journey through history and craft and culture of Ireland's most iconic beer. So the Guinness journey begins in 1759 when Arthur Guinness signed a 9,000-year lease. Whether you're a stout lover or just curious about what makes Guinness so legendary, this place will surprise you. The ground floor introduces you to four key ingredients: water, barley, hops, and yeast. As you ascend through the storehouse, each floor reveals a different chapter. The brewing process is brought to life with interactive displays, bubbly vats, and digital animations. These all show how Guinness gets its signature dark color and the creamy head that it has, if poured properly. I have had this haunting question in the back of my head for 15 years. Is Guinness better in Ireland? And we are finally going to get to the bottom of it. You'll learn about roasting barley at 232 degrees Celsius, the perfect pour technique, and why Guinness is nitrogen infused instead of carbonated. The Guinness Storehouse isn't just about the beer, it's also the storytelling, the innovation, the Irish identity, and the art installations. There's also a cafe that serves Guinness infused dishes. We got there later in the day and did not get to indulge in any Guinness infused dishes, but I did buy a box to make Guinness bread when I got home. And I also got stopped through security multiple times because I had it in my carry on bag and it's a powder and I should have checked it. One of the floors that I actually enjoyed way more than I thought I was going to is the advertising floor, where Guinness's quirky, bold, and unforgettable campaigns come alive. So then at the Guinness Academy, you will be taught the 6 step pouring process for how to obtain the perfect Guinness pour. We did pay a little bit extra for this hands on experience, but you do get a second beer as well as the example beer was left, and so we got to split that beer also. Last stop on your tour is the Gravity Bar perched on top of the storehouse. It is a sleek glass space that offers 360-degree views. This is also where you will get your complimentary pint of Guinness and you can just enjoy soaking up that skyline. It's a really fun moment to just reflect how one man's vision from so many years ago became this global phenomenon. He signed a 9,000-year contract. Like he knew that this beer was going to be around for a long time. I will say that after waiting 15 years to find out if Guinness is better in Ireland, the answer is after wrapping up at Guinness, we grabbed a taxi. We had walked roughly 6 miles throughout the day without any sleep from the night before. We found a traditional Irish pub right around the corner from our hotel, and thankfully, they were playing some live music. We were able to grab a seat at the bar and ordered a couple drinks and food. The food was decent, not bad, not amazing, and I would definitely return again. I thought the price point for what we had aligned well. After dinner, we went back to the hotel and essentially passed out. We had an early flight in the morning from Dublin into Edinburgh to start our Scotland adventure.
Hey guys. Thank you very much.
No problem.